dramatic visuals that are surfacing from Sri Lanka. This particular visual in which you can see the protesters have stormed the TV station. So this is the latest visual that we are getting of the protester who've stormed the TV station that has in fact they've taken over the TV station of Sri Lanka. That is the latest coming in. The visuals of Lankan protesters storming the TV station. Of course, this comes in the backdrop of a state of emergency that continues to remain enforced in the country. Dramatic visuals coming in of how the president fled earlier this morning. The chaos that unfolded, an open loot that was also captured on camera, and tear gas shells, of course, that were fired on the protesters. In fact, several protesters, we are told, were also injured after these tear gas shells were fired on the angry protesters. And back-to-back updates coming in, the latest coming in of news coming in of the protesters who have stormed the TV station of Sri Lanka. It's the national TV broadcast that has been suspended. A lot of visuals coming in that show how the state broadcaster has stopped its services as the protesters stormed the TV station and took over this TV station. In fact, the TV broadcast, the national broadcast, has now been suspended. A lot of updates coming in, tracking all those updates very closely. Of course, this comes in the backdrop of the state of emergency that continues to be enforced, that remains in force across the country. A lot of protesters, in fact, hundreds of thousands of protesters that have taken to streets to protest against Rajapaksa and the family. So country, they're reeling from extreme economic crisis, and in the backdrop of that we have the situation that is only spiraling out of control as we speak. In fact, those are the live visuals also that we are getting of the heavy security that has been deployed. Remember, earlier this morning choppers were also seen hovering over the protesters. So in the visuals, you can see how the army is seen patrolling the streets amid the massive protests that have spiraled out of control in Sri Lanka. In fact, earlier this morning, we also got visuals of the protesters who stormed the Sri Lanka's Prime Minister's office, who is also now the acting president of the country. Our senior executive editor, Abhishek, continues to be with us. Abhishek, talk to us about the visuals we are seeing right now of the heavy security deployment. We understand that the Lankan army has also taken to streets in some parts.
Well, we have seen the defense forces of Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan army, becoming very active, Samiksha, over the last 24 hours. So we have seen how they have taken over the installations of broadcast networks, state-owned broadcast networks, the TV and the radio. And so subsequently, we have seen how the broadcast has been stopped. We have also seen the Air Force of Sri Lanka shepherding and taking Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his immediate family out. And now we are seeing increasingly soldiers coming out on the streets of Colombo. So I think there is a message being given. There is a message being given by the forces that ultimately, if the chaos prevails and if the situation does not improve, they might have to intervene. It would not be good for the country. Remember,